You laugh Oh, I didn't find that. I mean, for me, it was clearly the wave because I am bad at the wave, or at least I was until I beat this level. But man, this first wave is so insanely hard right here. That's a choke point right at the drop there because it's such a tight corridor. And there's all sorts of choke points. This corridor is really tight too. There's so many hard parts, and then it chills out a little bit. And then the headbangers were a choke point for a while, but I eventually was pretty good at getting into the rhythm. And then the worst choke point of them all right here. Boom, 48%. That is a 60 hertz frame perfect. And you would just die there. You just have to accept that you're gonna die to 48. You just accept it. And then that's not really a choke. Well, this part is a bit of a choke point. The second wave is really hard. This part here, it's a little easy. And then this part is just a really awkward pattern. I was pretty good at it though. Better than a lot of other people are at it, because a lot of people die there all the time. I was a lot more consistent than normal. It's weird. I really jived with that part. And then of course, this part I died to a couple times. It was really sad. No, I died here once. It was really, really sad. And the beginning of the third wave is so stressful because there's spikes in the corridor there and it's way tighter than it looks. However, it gets a little bit easier here, but even though it's easier, you're so stressed when you get here. Oh my God, it's so stressful. So stressful. Huh? So I got to 44% on the first stream and I thought pretty good. I'm making great progress. I'm sure I'll beat this very soon. Actually, I didn't think that. So a few streams later, I got to 48%. I finally made it past these pesky headbangers, man. It was the first time. Those are so stressful to get through. And I was freaking out like, what? Dang, I got to the choke point. We finally got to the choke point. Okay, 48%. The next stream, I got to 49%. Why? Why? You serious? Why? Why? And then I got to 65%, which actually was a bit of a choke. I finally made it past that choke point, and I was freaking out here. I was freaking out. Whoa, 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 all over the place, but I somehow still made it through there. Somehow. But I was bricking it, man. This is my first time here. I was so nervous. What am I gonna do? No way. I'm gonna miss an input is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna miss an input at the free part. That part's pretty free if you know what you're doing. And eventually I'd learn a better pathway to do. In my final completion, I learned a better pathway where you can skip a bunch of orbs so that I wouldn't die there. And I never really died there. So that was great. 65% though. I made it past the first wave finally. And then something crazy happened. The next stream, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 10th stream in. So keep in mind, this took me 31 streams to beat. I got to this cube again. And I was thinking, oh man, I'm crushing it. But just, oh God, I was getting really nervous here. And I was like, wow, how am I doing so well? I shouldn't be this far. How am I getting this far? And then I got to this wave, which is notoriously difficult. And I died here a lot later on. And somehow I fluked it. I fluked this wave. You shouldn't fluke that wave. That is a very unflukable wave, but I fluked it anyways. I was in disbelief at this point. I couldn't even believe. I was like, what am I doing? I made it past the second wave first try. Everyone always told me you're gonna die there like 100 times. I just made it through their first try and I was freaking out and I made it through all the hard parts in the third wave. I could have fluked this level and then boom. Oh my God! I died to 92. How did I fluke that though? I died to 92%. Vortrox, damn you! 92, why? I couldn't just fluke the level. You had to curse my game. But that was amazing though, because you don't just fluke the second wave in Sonic Wave. You don't do it. But I did. I didn't die there as much as other people did, but I had the hardest time getting consistent at the first wave. Even to this day, the first wave still just crushed me. And like some streams, I would barely get past the first wave at all. Even towards the end of my streaming this level, the first wave just was so hard. So I fluked out. I got 92%. And then I kind of stagnated. I didn't make much progress. Bunch of streams. Of course, I wouldn't make it that far. You know, 92, it was a miracle. But it really wasn't, because it really stressed me out. Made me think that people had this expectation that I was going to beat it soon, when I clearly knew it was just a fluke, and I was not going to get that far again for a long time. Until all of a sudden, I did make it that far again. I made it really far into the level. I was like, whoa, I'm on the second wave, and I made it through again, finally. Finally. Amazing. Let's see how this ends up. I died the exact same death. No, and it was so close. No, I just hit the tippy tip. Look, I just barely hit the tippy tip. No, no, 92% again. Vortrox, why? For the second time. This input's not that hard. Look how much space is there. There's a big gap there compared to a lot of the spaces. It's not that bad. The wave after is harder, but I didn't die there. Where you got to go up and down at that section after, it's way harder. And then that was the best attempt I would have for another many streams. I felt a little bit stuck. However, in all of these streams, I was pushing myself and I was slowly but surely, even though like it didn't feel like it at times, getting more and more consistent. And then finally, it happened. After many days of grinding this, 2 whole months. Finally, I pushed myself, getting to the third wave again, ready for success. Yes, going through all those tight sections. Yes, go Eric. I died the same death once, and I died at 92 again for the third time. Why? At that point, I was getting pretty decent at the level, and I was feeling really confident in my skills in Sonic Wave. And so, the next stream is when this happened.
Are you ready for some badassery?
I just beat Sonic Wave! Yeah! We did it! Oh my god! Man, that came out of nowhere! Woo! I can't believe we did it! Oh man! I was so a little shaky at the end there! Woo! Damn son, Sonic Wave! Oh, my new hardest, baby! This was a struggle, son! This was a struggle, son! RGB done! Yatagarasu Erebus Sonic Wave! The multi-year project has finished. To be fair, I could have done it within a year. I took a lot of breaks from Yata, but we did it! Son! Sonic Wave! Yo, Aeon, I'm glad you're here. Dude, Sick. Oh, okay. So the attempt count is going to be a lot because I die to the first input a lot. And also it's just Sonic Wave. Each practice run, I die really quick. It's going to be way more than Yada probably. 11,768 plus 18,380. Actually not that bad. 30K almost exactly. It's like 30,048. It's 148. 30,000. Oh yeah, 148. That's right. Okay. 30,148. All right. That's a lot of attempts for a level. All right. That's a lot. So what's next for EVW? Is that it? I finished my dream of doing RGB. Well, I don't think my story's over yet. I think I still got a little bit more left to give, and I think we'll try something a little harder. What a journey the RGB was, and I'll see you guys later. As always, peace.
In the following video, a woman named Aria is recording herself walking down a hallway inside a hotel, but something about her video seems off.
Okay.